MCP servers are changing the way we interact with our DevOps toolchains. Instead of context switching between dashboards, CLIs, and UIs, you connect an AI assistant directly to the tools you're already using like GitHub, Kubernetes, Terraform, Grafana through a single standardized protocol. In this video, we'll walk through 18 MCP servers that cover the full DevOps lifecycle from version control to security scanning. The first category of tools we will talk about is version control and CI/CD. The most used VCS MCP server is the GitHub MCP server. This server securely connects your AI assistants to your private and public repositories. You can ask it to summarize recent commits, explain complex branches, or even analyze pull request histories to identify key contributors. It acts as a secure bridge, allowing the AI assistant to actually understand your code base without ever exposing it directly. Next is the GitLab MCP server. It integrates with your self-hosted or cloud-based GitLab instances, and is designed to understand the entire GitLab ecosystem. You can ask your AI to check the status of a pipeline in GitLab CI, create a new issue from a conversation, or review merge requests based on predefined project rules. Rounding out this category is the Azure DevOps MCP server. This brings the power of AI to the full Microsoft stack, interacting with Azure boards, repos, and pipelines. Imagine asking your AI to create a new user story based on a bug report, track the progress of a sprint, or trigger a release pipeline, all through simple natural language commands. The second category we'll cover is containers and orchestration. The Docker Hub MCP server gives your AI assistant access to Docker Hub's massive image catalog. Do you need to find the right base image for a project, or you want to compare tags, or check image metadata, or manage your repository? This server handles all of that. It's focused on intelligent content discovery, helping your AI recommend the right images based on what you're building. Plus, it gives you repository management like creating repos and listing your namespace. The Kubernetes MCP server provides a secure conversational interface to your clusters. You can ask it to describe the pods in the prod namespace, scale the web API deployment to 5 replicas, or explain why the pod is in a crash loop backup state. It helps you translate your request into secure API calls. The Lens MCP server takes this a step further by connecting your AI assistants to the Lens Kubernetes IDE. It connects to all the clusters you have in Lens, so if you are using the AWS or Azure integrations, you don't need to have your clusters saved in your kubeconfig. You can ask it questions about what is happening in multiple clusters at the same time, and the MCP server will come up with an analysis, and it will also show you how to fix the issues. If you're already using Lens Kubernetes IDE, this one's a no-brainer. For GitOps workflows, the Argo CD MCP server lets your AI query application state directly. Is this billing service synced and healthy? What changed in the latest sync? Instead of clicking through the Argo CD UI or running CLI commands, you can simply ask. The third category we'll cover is infrastructure as code. Kicking off is the Terraform MCP server. This is your AI bridge to the Terraform ecosystem. It gives your AI access to up-to-date provider documentation, module information, and policy references from the Terraform registry. When it generates ACL, it's using current schemas, not stale training data. You can also manage ACP Terraform workspaces, check run status, and attach policy sets. No more outdated resource arguments in AI-generated configs. Next on our list is Spacelift Intent. This is an MCP server that lets you provision and manage cloud infrastructure using natural language. You don't need any Terraform code. You describe what you want, and Spacelift Intent figures out the provider schemas from the OpenTofu registry, and based on its policy engine, it actually enforces your OPA guardrails before anything gets created. Think of it as vibe coding your infrastructure, but with governance built in. The AWS MCP ecosystem is the most extensive of any cloud provider. AWS has over 60 MCP servers covering everything from EKS to Cost Explorer to Lambda. But with the AWS MCP server, you get consolidated access to over 15,000 AWS APIs and up-to-date documentation into a single interface. It uses IAM for access control, logs everything to CloudTrail, and includes pre-built agent SOPs for common tasks, so you can ask it how much you are spending for S3 this month, or show me every untagged EC2 instances, and you get quick answers and you don't need to use the console at all. The Azure MCP server connects your AI to over 47 Azure services through a unified interface. You get resource management, cost queries, monitoring, databases, messaging, and more. It uses Entra ID for authentication and Azure RBAC for access control, so it fits into your existing security model. You can ask it to summarize the latest Azure Monitor alerts, query your custody data, or check the status of your deployments. It's one server covering a wide surface area. The fourth category we are going to cover is monitoring and observability. And the Grafana MCP server connects your AI directly to your dashboards. Instead of hunting through panels, you can simply ask what's the P95 latency for user authentication in production, and the server pulls the data or even a panel snapshot. It turns Grafana from something you browse into something you query. The Prometheus MCP server is where things get interesting, especially if you hate writing PromQL from scratch. You can describe what you want in plain English, what's the CPU usage across our API gateways, for example, and the AI builds and runs the PromQL query for you, and that alone is just worth the setup. The Datadog MCP server gives your AI assistant access to metrics, logs, and traces in one place. The real unlock is cross-signal correlation. You can ask it to correlate the spike in 500 errors, for example, with any recent deployment and pull the relevant logs. And this kind of query usually takes 3 different Datadog views, and in here with the AI assistant it's a single sentence. The last category we'll cover is security and scanning. So the Trivy MCP server integrates Trivy scanning directly into your AI workflow. You can ask natural language questions like, does this Python 3.12 base image have any known vulnerabilities, or are there any misconfigurations in this particular project? This gets you a structured answer back, and there is no need to switch to a terminal or remember Trivy CLI flags, because this MCP server covers container images, file systems, remote repositories, and if you're an Aqua platform user, you also get assurance policies, validations on top. Next, we have the Prowler MCP server. This one brings cloud security posture management into your AI workflow. It connects to the Prowler platform, which covers AWS, Azure, GCP, Kubernetes, and more, and lets your AI assistant query findings, assess risk, and even generate remediation for pull requests directly. You can ask it for high-severity CIS violation into your production account, for example, or have it summarize what changed since your last scan. And it's very, very useful because it integrates with any tool you like, so you can actually fix misconfigurations without leaving your editor. The Wiz MCP server taps into the Wiz security graph, which is where it gets pretty powerful. You can ask questions that span multiple risk factors at once, like show me every public-facing VM with unpatched vulnerabilities that also have access to sensitive data. And that query will actually take serious effort in any other interface, and in here again it's a single sentence. Finally, the Snyk MCP server brings developer-first security into the loop. You can scan a pull request for new vulnerabilities or ask it to find a safe upgrade path for a vulnerable dependency. It covers code, containers, and open source libraries, so you can catch issues before they hit your main branch. And that's the full list. You have 18 MCP servers spanning version control, containers, IAC, monitoring, and security. The ecosystem is real, it's growing fast, and you can start deploying these today in your environments. If this was useful, please subscribe for more practical DevOps and AI content, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.